We are into the final day of the Super 8 Group League games, and I have Gian once again with me. Gian, in the IPL games, we used to see the final day. We do not know who will be the top four. Now it's come on to the World Cup now. We're to the final day. We do not know who are the top two teams that will make on to the semi-finals from Group 1. We expected more from Group 2, but now the things have heated up in Group 1. What do you look into this? We have in few hours time we have India versus Australia coming up. The weather doesn't look good out there, but this game holds a lot of significance.
The irony in Group 1 is that all four teams are alive still in the tournament. They are not eliminated at all. Even knowing that India has almost qualified, you can say just that run rate thing. And I don't, the amount of run rate, that's what we have. I don't think that would be a concern, even if we end up losing the game against Australia, obviously not by a very big margin. But the irony here is Bangladesh also are alive in this tournament somewhere. And obviously, there is with results going their way. They have to win first against Afghanistan and hope that Australia lose today by a very big margin. And so this is really really good. I mean, and IPL obviously we saw those last match thrillers and all, but over here we have seen low scoring thrillers in a T20 that too, and which was really
Absolutely.
unexpected. Because we were expecting maybe USA small grounds, fast pitches. We were expecting 280, 300 happening often, but even totals like 115, 120 were being defended, and that was the beauty of this game. I mean, this is super fun, like literally. Like first, even I had thought a team like Bangladesh, coming at this stage fighting for a semi-final place in the T20 World Cup, this wasn't happening because they were one of the weakest teams on paper, and they also played some very good cricket in the group stages. And Afghanistan, what can we say about them? A beautiful beautiful story coming into their first ICC tournament in 2015, where they played Australia in their first ever game, and Australia scored over 400, and that game, and then that Wankhede game in last year's World Cup. It's all ending up in a beautiful story for them.
Absolutely. The redemption was wonderful, but you spoke about few past games. Let's talk about today's morning game. Let's be honest. Do you really think for once the Choker's tag is once again on the cards?
Um, I think, I mean, obviously, I think that mental block will always going to be there. I mean, how many semifinals has South Africa lost? That will always be clicking. The 99 being the top of the cards, where
Yep.
Alan Donald is run out, and that Dale Steyn getting smashed for that six in the second last ball. There are many instances to it. Even in the many T20 World Cups, also South Africa has lost the semifinal at the semifinal stage. And in fact, in the previous World Cup edition, also in the 50 over format, they lost in the semi-finals. So I think that semi-final block is always going to be there, no matter who they play. Even if they play India or Afghanistan or Australia, that tag is always going to be remaining there. And I think
But the way they
maybe
performed today morning against West Indies, I think they deserve the praise.
they do deserve the praise, but again, they just by a fine margin they just got through it. So because West Indies did come back very well, and they almost dragged it to the last over. Apart from those two balls which was smacked for the boundary, but apart from
Correct.
that, I think they still. I think the almost all of the results what South Africa had, at least 60-65% of the games, so were draggy wins. They were not comfortable wins.
Absolutely, and that's the reason why behind. I think this game is going to be important. Afghanistan versus Bangladesh tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look into the fixtures so far for both these teams in the Super 8s. You said about Afghanistan do have a chance. You also said Bangladesh has an outside chance. What do you sum it up for Afghanistan's Super 8's journey so far? They got knocked out against India, fought back brilliantly against Australia. Who would have thought? I'm sure I did not. Did you?
See, more or less, their fighting spirit was always going to remain the same, and obviously, they had that Wankhede game in their heads for a long time, and that would have hurt. I mean, Naveen Mujibul Rahman had dropped a catch at short fine leg for Glenn Maxwell. I think that was the World Cup, and that was the game over there. That was game dropped over there, and I think that was the turning moment for Australia to eventually win that cup. And so did you allow if you allow Australians to get into that zone, you can't stop them. So I think this is the right opportunity for Afghanistan as well. They would be obviously rooting for India to maybe thump Australia by at least 25-30 runs, or chase down a total in 17-18 overs, so that India ups their run rate and Australia's run rate comes more down, and Afghanistan can beat Bangladesh by a good margin, and then maybe steal that semi-final spot.
Absolutely. And but just like you said about India winning, I think Afghanistan fans will also root for rain gods if they can come and play spoil sport. Then just a victory for them against Bangladesh tomorrow morning will do the job. But Bangladesh, on the other hand, not the impressive campaign, especially against India. The game they won the toss, elected to bowl first in that stadium, and then started off with two spinners. So did the game plan did not work for Bangladesh in that game?
I think the captaincy mattered, experience mattered over here. I mean, Najibullah Shanto, obviously is obviously going to get pressurized in such a against such a big team and at such a stage, because obviously you need to have a mentality like Shakib Al Hasan, an experienced player, a captain, with that mindset. But obviously he has not taken up those responsibility of that captain. So I think Shanto, I think they couldn't do much. I mean, they bowled okayish, and but I think 195 was too far fetched for them, and they were never in that run chase. Also, I never saw them from ball one. Never saw them in that run chase. In the 10 over mark, they were 60, 65 runs with 3 or 4 wickets down, and I mean the pressure kept creeping up. Required run rate was almost 14, 15 by eighth or ninth over. So I think they were never in that game. So I think that
Okay.
captaincy mattered according to me.
Absolutely. Even I think the lack of experience in the captaincy rank mattered for them. But we're done with this. Let's take a look into the lessons learned from both the teams from the previous game. Afghanistan came in a victory against Australia. I think Gurbaz still needs to score runs at the top of the order. He looked good in the group stages. The Super 8s, his bat is not doing the talk. Fielding was exceptional from Afghanistan. You can somehow say it was good as well as bad, but the job was done. But the spell of Rashid and Noor versus the Bangladesh batsman, I think that will be key.
Definitely, definitely. I think more than the batting bowling, I was enjoying Afghanistan's fielding. I think
Yeah.
the few catches which they took, to dismiss Glenn Maxwell. Then there was another dismissal to dismiss.
Ashton
I don't
one, that's extra
Ashton
cover.
Agar one, exactly. So these small instances, the moments, they have to take up these opportunities, and obviously against Australia, they would be obviously doing putting those extra efforts, because that too important. They were two important points up for grabs, and I think, and if you beat Australia, you gain a lot of confidence going into your next game, obviously against a struggling Bangladesh. So that mentality
100%.
will be clear. When mentality is going to be very clear over here.
Absolutely. And that's the difference between these two teams. Afghanistan chasing for a semi-final berth, but Bangladesh here, I think you said about a lack of experience, including Najmul Hussain Santu. I think the openers need to get going. All-rounders will be key. You spoke about Mamadullah, you spoke about Shakib Al Hasan. They've added Mehdi Hassan. You can somehow say Rishad Hussain, the way he batted the other day, he can be also an all-rounder. Pace attack, I think only Tanzib Hassan is looking the only lethal one. What about Mustafizur Rahim? Mustafizur Rahman? I think he should have enjoyed these kind of surfaces.
Definitely. I mean, he had a very good, short stint in the IPL also. He was very impactful, in fact. The leading wicket taker for CSK. And who would have thought, actually, because, there was a question mark, over to whether he will be even in the playing 11, but he was ended up as the top wicket taker for them and had a fiery spell. So I thought that momentum would be carried on over here. But I think it was not meant to be, I think. But I think the entire team's morale has been down. They were entire tournament. They did win games. I mean, they have reached till here, obviously still alive in that tournament, not even getting that eliminated mark. I mean, if they have to beat Afghanistan by a good margin and then really hope that Australia, maybe loses by 50, 60 runs. So, that outside chance is there, but still that chance is there. They will be praying that India win today by a big, handsome margin. But again, over
Absolutely.
here, their openers have not fired up. I mean, again, that Tamim Iqbal is missing, from that opening
Ethan Das
slot.
is there.
That also definitely, Little Das hasn't been firing at all, much this year in this tournament. And obviously, Shakib Al Hasan has been very off, because we know what Shakib has actually done in ICC tournaments. And Mohammad Allah, obviously, one of the best all rounders they've ever got. So these things matter. When youngsters or maybe inexperienced players don't perform, you need the experienced players to step up in the big games. But I think that if that's faltering, I think the entire team has been going down.
Absolutely. And that could be the difference between these two teams. We're done with this. Let's take a look into the pitch report of the stadium. These two teams will face each other tomorrow morning. It's going to be at Annesville Stadium. We all know this Kingstown, but looking at the stats, Gian, you were really saying about low scoring defending targets. Out of 6 times, 5 times the teams have batted first, have ended up being victorious at this time. And similarly, 5 times the teams have lost the toss, have ended up winning the game. So if you're given the captain's hat, and if you have won the toss, which you don't want to, but what would you do?
Bat first, simple as that. You put a total on board. Bat first, make use of the conditions. Batting practice and all. Score over 130, 140, and then give the opportunity to go and bat, because we know the game, we don't know, but if weather comes into place and if you're chasing a total, the DLS will come into question, and the bowling would be tricky over here, because ideally what we saw today also, South Africa's target was also winning, and they went till the last over, they started losing wickets, and if
Correct.
they lost your wicket at the wrong time, and there was a stage, if the rain had continued, it would have been curtains for West Indies there and then, but still the West Indies came back, they fought, and if if South Africa were around 4 down, 5 down, and if that time, at that point of time, if the rains had interrupted and if the DLS would have come into place, West Indies would have maybe won by a run or two as well. So that DLS is going to be very crucial, and I think if the stats saying then if the team batting first has won 5 times defending, so I think no point doing that. I mean, no point changing that.
Absolutely. No point changing what the stat says. So says Jian, win the toss, bat first, even if it's a day night game. Let's take a look into the top 3 players to watch out for. Here are the top 3 players, according to me, for Bangladesh. Liton Das, as you said, at the top of the order, he needs to get runs. Experience is the key. Shakib doesn't look good in the with the bat in this season. I've gone with Mahmudullah Rehad. He's getting his offies as well ongoing, and has to be Tanzim Hassan Sakib. For Afghanistan, it's Rahmanullah Gurbaz, Rashid Khan, and Fazal Faruqi. If you can sum it up, all the 6 players, please, Jian.
I think pretty much. I think these players have stepped up for Bangladesh. I think where they have, you can say Mahmudullah also has been one of the key factor in this tournament, where they have won games. He can bowl those 2 3 overs in that later on in the middle overs, get you wickets. Tanzib has been very very lethal with the ball. Getting out Rohit Sharma also in the beginning, and getting out Virat Kohli in that previous game. So that obviously you get that confidence. Written that's he has to fire. He has a lot of potential. He has to score those quick runs, and maybe give them a heavy, like a good start. Maybe inside the power play, they should be around 40 to 50 to 55 runs. And even if he falls after that, the stage is set for the upper middle order and the middle order players. So they should get, if they're batting first, they should get to around 160, 165, and then give Afghanistan a go, and that go chase this down, and we will get you up. So I think, and it's similar for Bangladesh. I think Gurbaz, Rashid, and I think this is experience also matters over here. That the experience will have to step up, and they have stepped up big time, because I have noticed Rashid Khan has been very good in the field. He was pumping up the entire team.
Very
The
active.
entire team, the team was completely into Russia. They're like, we are going to win it for you. We are going to win it. We are going to listen to you. We'll give in everything. One name I would like to add here is that experience factor will be Gulbadin Naib. I mean, he has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely
Not only
phenomenal.
with the ball, but even with the bat. Even with the bat, we know he has turned into an all-rounder now. I mean, first he used to not be a regular batter, but now he has been promoting himself up the order, number 3, number 4. So that helps Afghanistan, have strengthened their batting as well. And they obviously the batting
Talk
looks
of
big, and I think
well against Australia, the amount of reverse swing he was getting, I think he was the game changer.
definitely. I mean, Gulbadin Naib, he has that experience, and of course, Fazlet Faruqi. I mean, wow, what? I mean, he said the way he started the tournament was out amazing. I mean, left arm pacer after all. I mean, I just have a thing for this left arm pacers, and brilliant, brilliant, absolute brilliant. I think this should be it. I think Mohammad Nabi's experience also would be obviously handy somewhere and somewhere.
Okay, so we will see that. Mohammad Nabi, you've spoken about so many experienced players, but where do they fit in the predicted playing 11? Let's have a look. Yeah, it is predicted playing 11 time. You spoke about Gulbadim Naim batting at number 4. I also do have him. I think Bangladesh has a couple of left arm spinners or a leg spinner. I've gone with Najibullah Zadran into the 11 in place of there was an off spinner who played the other day. The rest of the players stay the same for me. Is it an unchanged 11 for you as well?
Yeah, absolutely unchanged. I mean, you don't need to, make a lot of changes unless an injury changes. Of course, it will be a forced change. But other than that, you need to. If they have won against the mighty Aussies, I don't see any, tactical change to be done right now. I mean, there is no time to experiment. This is the lot that has won you the game. So please send that same lot. They would be having confidence. Suddenly, if you get a new player into that 11, that will add more pressure in a do or die game again. So might as well let these guys play. I mean, this is a very balanced squad according to me.
Absolutely. And going to the other end, which is Bangladesh, I think Bangladesh also look good, but it's they are not able to perform. So I go with an unchanged 11. What about yours?
Same for me. I think the as I said, the key factor will missing here is that captaincy experience here. I mean, I don't rate Shanto. Shanto's captaincy. I will never doubt his batting because he's a very good batter. Very good mind. I've seen his batting intent also. He's really lethal in all three formats, especially. But the captaincy has not clicked yet, and it's not good for Bangladesh. I think they could shift the captaincy. Maybe not to give a chance to give it to Mehdi Hassan or Mustafizur Rahman also at once. There would be a new change in role, but I think Shanto's captaincy isn't clicking, and that is being a key factor in this entire tournament for them, especially.
Absolutely. And he has summed it up pretty well. But he says Shanto's captaincy has not been up to par. Can the current captain himself can he step up and deliver at the biggest moment of their T20 World Cup 2024 campaign? We'll see that. But next time now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on to the predictions time now. Match number 52, Afghanistan versus Bangladesh. Jihan, last match of the group stages.
Mhm.
Keeping aside whatever happens between India and Australia, where do you look into this game?
85-15 to Afghanistan.
85-15 straight away to Afghanistan. He did not think twice before giving the prediction. He thinks Afghanistan are firm favorites in this game. Early in the morning, grab a coffee, 6 a.m. clash, Indian Standard Time. We will see that. But thank you so much, Jian. Thank you to all the viewers for watching this video. We're done with the group stages. We will see who qualifies from group number one, whether it's India, Australia, or Afghanistan, or an outside chance for Bangladesh as well. Semi-finals times are coming very shortly. We will definitely be back once again. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fifth Umpire. Press the bell icon as well. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.